Hello and welcome back to the We Are Birmingham Blue preview. I'm Luke Stokes. I've finally had a haircut. Blues have won back-to-back home games for the first time since God knows when, and kept clean sheets in the last 3 games. So as week goes, I've had a pretty good one this week. But join me this week to preview Blues v Rotherham on Sunday is Mick from the Rotherham United Podcast. Mick, thanks for joining me, mate, before a massive game tonight as we're recording it. How are you feeling, first of all?
A little bit nervous, I'll be honest. It'd be nice to get 3 points out of tonight, and would do you a favour as well, wouldn't it?
It would.
Sort of
it would.
A local club point of view.
Literally, I mean, I'm talking beforehand. For people that are watching, we're filming this before the Coventry-Rotherham game on Thursday evening, about an hour before kick-off. So thanks for jumping on, Mick, before with the nerves of tonight's game. Really appreciate it, mate. And I suppose, like I said, tonight's a 6-pointer for you versus Coventry. A couple of weeks ago, I would have said Blues v Rotherham was probably the biggest game of the season for us because we looked dead and buried. And then last weekend, all of a sudden we're 9 points clear and we're sort of thinking we're basically there. So this game all of a sudden becomes slightly less important as what it was a few weeks back. Then you go and pick up a result against QPR on Tuesday night, 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And a win tonight would see you level on points with Coventry and 3 points behind Blues again. I mean, from a Rotherham perspective, just talk to me in terms of where your head's at the minute and how you're feeling as a Rotherham fan.
I have no idea where my head's at, Luke, to be honest. It's been a season for us, and I think probably for yourselves as well, where it's just there's been absolutely no consistency. You just can't string 2 or 3 results together. And hopefully that tide's now going to turn right at the important part of the season. Last 2 performances have been really, really good. We're at Huddersfield, where we spoke beforehand that we absolutely battered them 0-0. We should have had 3 or 4 easily. And then obviously Tuesday night against QPR, we pulled that out of the bag with the fantastic second half performance. It really was one of the best second half performances of the season. So I'll be honest with you, I don't know where my head's at, because we played Wycombe the week before and just got absolutely, we just bottled it. We just, they played us like a fiddle, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
I mean, is there anything that's changed in terms of formation-wise, tactic-wise? Have you sort of just gone for it because, losing to bottom of the league, you've got nothing to lose now? Or is it just a case of the players starting to turn up in the business end of the season sort of thing?
I'd like to think it was that. I would definitely like to think it was that. I mean, to be fair, when you look back across our season, within I think 2 or 3 weeks of the beginning of the season, we got 5 first-team, first-choice players out of the squad on long-term injuries, and then they're still not all back now. So that really, really affected us early doors. But as I said, they're now starting to come back, and it is starting to make a difference. There's a lot more experience in there. But yeah, and then obviously we've had the COVID issues as well, which is just, when this was all happening, when it was all going off at the sort of Christmas time, we were getting loads and loads and loads of stick from a lot of supporters, saying, "Oh, you're going to benefit from it. You're going to benefit from it." And even at the time, I thought we ain't going to benefit at all because of the shortness of the season. And here we are playing 4 games in 8 days.
Yeah,
finishing off against yourselves on Sunday. In fact, it doesn't finish then because we got Middlesbrough, I think, Tuesday. So it sort of just goes on and on. So I don't think anything's changed. I just think the players perhaps are starting to get their heads into gear and realise what we need to do.
Yeah. I definitely think it was sort of a catch-22 situation. It could have gone either way. You had a lot of fans saying, "Oh, why Rotherham postponing games? They should have done a lot more with the COVID protocols." I think Blues have only had 1 COVID case all season, and at one point there was 25 cases, I think, at Rotherham, or something around that number.
And 25 tests.
Positive tests. Yeah, and then like you said, people are saying, "Well, it's going to be an advantage coming into the season." But then you also got the point where you think, well, actually, points on the board at that stage of the season are much more valuable than games in hand. And this week could have gone either way for you. I mean, if you'd have lost to QPR this week and you'd have lost tonight against Coventry, let's say, then those 4 games in that run would have been, it would have been awful. Rotherham would have had this hard week. If you go and get 2 wins out of these first 2 games and you pick up some sort of form and the players can get through get through this week on, well, like I say, with form and with a bit of confidence, then potentially you could see it as a benefit to Rotherham. But it's just one of those things where you could never really call it either way. And personally, I thought it would actually hurt you in terms of fatigue and in terms of players. And I just want to touch on that really from a Blues fan's point of view. That's what we're sort of focusing on. We're the last game out of 4. We're thinking, like you said, 4 games in 8 days. We're the 4th game. How did you line up against QPR? And have you seen the team news for tonight? Has there been much rotation and looking towards the Blues game on Sunday? Because, like I said to you a few weeks ago, you'd have said that Blues Rotherham would be the biggest game of the season, and Coventry were out of it, and all of a sudden it's sort of flipped around a bit this week. So just talk to us about squad rotation coming into that one on Sunday, if you can.
Yeah, I mean, we made quite a lot of changes on Tuesday night, and it ended up being the perfect storm because we rested probably 4 or 5 of our starters, our sort of stronger players, if you like, and they ended up coming on later on in the game. So almost half the team, or almost all the team, got half a game rest almost. You know what I mean? It's sort of the perfect storm. I've not seen the team news for tonight. It will be out now. I've not had a chance to look at it yet, but I expect it to be a really, really strong side. I think how we line up against yourselves on Sunday depends very much on what the result is tonight. I suspect I'm not going to nail I'm going to nail my colours. I think we'll get a result tonight. I think we'll be too strong for Coventry. In which case, Sunday, I don't think has anywhere near the significance that it did have or would have had. So, but who knows? You just can't call it, can you? You can't call it. No, absolutely. It's about momentum at this stage of the season, isn't it? Yeah, it's all about momentum because everybody, in terms of ability, probably with the exception of Wickham and Sheffield Wednesday, are pretty much of a muchness. There's nothing to choose between the sides, probably right up to the playoffs places. There's very little to choose. And Birmingham have got the momentum at the moment. We've got the momentum. Coventry, Derby, Huddersfield have got the momentum in the wrong way. So while that continues, happy days for me.
Yeah, I've got quite a few Coventry mates and they are worried coming into this one tonight. Go back to it a few weeks ago, they probably weren't worried, but now they really are. And like you said, it's all about momentum and form. They've not got much momentum at all. They beat Bristol City, I think, a couple of weeks back, 3-1. But apart from that game, they haven't looked like either conceding less than 2 goals in a game potentially, and scoring many up the other end. So tonight is absolutely huge, as you said. You made a good point there about the teams from probably the playoffs down to where we are. Anybody can beat anyone, and there's so many results across the Championship for years now that have proved that. How have you found being back in the Championship this season? Taking COVID out of it and all that. How have you found Rotherham United back in the Championship this year?
The quality of the teams that we've played, with the exception of a couple, has been what we expected, and pretty much as I just said there. Nothing to choose at all between a huge part of that division. It's a goal scorer, or a bit of luck here, a bit of luck there. The thing that struck me most about this season coming back up again has been the standard of officiating. It's just been, I have never ever in the how many years I've been watching football have I seen this level of incompetence. It's just been unbelievable. The refereeing back in League One is just it's streets ahead of what we've got up here, and that is a sad thing to say, but it's true.
Yeah, it really is.
That's my.
I mean, I don't know how you found it 2 seasons ago when you were in the Championship, but for me, it's just kept declining. The standard of refereeing has been poor for the last couple of years. Last year, particularly noticed it, and then this year, like you said, has been nothing short of woeful at times. You mentioned attacking options there being the difference in the Championship particularly. And you've got a few players that have got a few goals under the belt this season. You've got Lapadou, you've got Smith, and you've got Matt Crooks. So Lapadou's got 9, Smith's got 10, and Crooks has got 7. There's a few Blues fans talking on Twitter, maybe a bit optimistic. If Rotherham go down, we should have a look at Lapadou. That sort of chat already. And let's be honest, we're not safe yet. Those results could go either way. How have you found him this season? And also, have you got the attacking options, do you think, that's going to keep you up with 7 or 8 games to go in your case?
I think we have, definitely. We've definitely got goals, got goals in the side. And As far as Freddie Ladapo is concerned, I've probably been one of his harshest critics this season, and I do like him. Don't get me wrong, but he has his faults. He is a typical striker in that he doesn't tend to get involved in the game too much. We play a really high pressing style, and that sort of starts at the front clearly. And Freddie's really struggled to fit into that. And yet, I mean, the 2 goals he scored the other night were absolutely fantastic. Really, really good goals.
Yeah.
Whether he's a championship striker, no, I'm not so sure. But other people will tell you different. And he's got 9 goals this season in the championship.
Yeah.
And probably, if he started 3 or 4 games, maybe 5 or 6 games, that's it. So on that return, I guess I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't know why I said Ladapo. Obviously, that's what I meant to say. He's every time I've watched Rotherham this season, and you've got a result, he seems to be on the score sheet. I remember, I think was it Sheffield Wednesday away a few weeks ago, last minute when he's grown. I bet you went absolutely mental at that result as well. And it's an absolute wonder goal in the last minute to win it for you. And who knows how important that could be come the end of the season. But from a Blues fan's perspective, mate, as well, just want to get an opinion on Wes Harding. You know, he went to you in the summer. I, as a Blues fan, quite liked him. It's unfortunate because we've got Max Collin and he weren't getting a consistent run of form. And in some games, Wes was playing. If he was playing right back, he was solid, and I thought people couldn't get past him. I thought he was quite a good defender. He had a mistake in him, granted, but we started messing him about playing in wing back and left back and all sorts. I'm reading in the week that he got an assist playing centre midfield was in the week. Is that true? And how have you found him this season? It's not true. That's all right then. And how have you found him this season? You know, coming in and making difference for Rotherham.
He found himself in midfield, and he played a ball that Busquets would have been absolutely proud of. It was an absolute peach. Honestly, the outside of his right foot bent it around the defender. It was an absolute peach. I don't know. Did we pay you for him, or did we get him on a free?
I think it was a few $100,000. I think. Yeah, I don't think it was expensive.
Either way, I think we robbed you. Quite frankly,
fair point.
He has been outstanding this season. As Wes Harding, he's played left back, right back, left wing back, right wing back. He's played centre half, and for me personally, he's probably knocking on the door of our player of the season, or one of certainly. He's certainly in contention for it. He's been absolutely solid as a rock. All defenders have got a mistake in them, haven't they? You know, and it, you know, when they make a mistake, everybody sees it. It's like when the goalkeeper does. You know what I mean? But he's been brilliant, and I can't believe you let him go, to be honest. But thank you.
No worries. Listen, I'm with you. I always thought he had something at Blues, and like you's right. You know, in a system where his primary focus is defending, and he can use his right foot more often than his left. He's a solid championship player, like I said, in my opinion, and I always found that. I guess, mate, now where we're going to go now is to the team news coming into it. From a Blues point of view, John Terrell was injured last week against Brentford. He's out for a while. Scotty Hogan missed out on the weekend and we beat Stoke. I think it's a back injury that's reoccurring. There's no news on whether he's fit or not. Is there any big team news for Rotherham? I know you said there's some long-term injuries maybe coming back towards the end of the season. What's the team news from your side of things, mate?
I think, like I said earlier on, I think it'll very much depend on where we get on, how we get on tonight. The players to watch for us, to be fair, Michael Smith, who plays it from he's your typical sort of, or you would think he was your typical number 9, big lad, big strong lad, and puts himself about a bit. But he's got a lot more to his game than just that. So he's certainly one to watch, and if you can take him out of the game, it certainly would affect the way that we play. But everything, I guess, depends on what happens tonight as to what that team is going to be on Sunday. I keep wanting to say Saturday, and it's not.
I think there'll be quite a few Blues fans watching tonight. Me included, mate. I'm watching the game and having a look, see what Rotherham are all about. Coming into it on Sunday, like you said, it is a huge game. There's no two ways about that, really. And it'll be interesting to see the standout performers. I guess there's only one thing to finish on, mate, and it's a score prediction. Again, I guess it does depend on how tonight goes. If you get a win against Coventry tonight, there's sort of less on it in a weird way on Sunday. Whereas if you don't get a result, it could be a gung-ho, quite open game, and Rotherham sort of going for it. So how do you see it going, mate, from a score prediction point of view?
I'm fancying and hoping for a draw. I'll settle for a draw. But again, we've said it, and it depends on tonight. I think if we don't get a result tonight, you'll have to batten down the hatches, because I think he will definitely go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely go for it. So it could be an interesting game. Could be a really interesting game. It'd be nice if neither team had a great deal to play for. And we could just go and enjoy it. But I don't think either of us can enjoy it, no matter what the result is tonight. You know, because it only takes Derby to string a couple of wins together, or Huddersfield to. No, that's not going to happen, is it? Not Huddersfield, not at the moment.
No.
That's not going to happen.
No, I think personally, I'm going to go with you on the draw, actually. But Blues have been in good form. It's typical Blues to go against the good teams, and despite nobody expecting us to get anything out of those 4 games that we had with Reading, Brentford, Swansea, Watford, we've got 7 points out of those games, and it's typical Blues to then go and lose to a team down the bottom in a big game and leave it to the last couple of games of the season. I mean, we've got 1 point from Wickham all season, so it's not nothing's given in the Championship, as you said. So I'm going to go for a 1-1. Actually, I think regardless of the result tonight, I think we will be in a situation more where we just don't want to lose it and don't let you get ground on us going into the final few games of the season. I think 1-1 would probably be a good result for us. So that's what I'm going to go with. Last thing,
I'll settle for that, Luke.
Listen, we'll shake on it now, mate, shall we? Should we just take a 1-1? That's fine.
Yeah. I'll ring AFL now. We'll just sort it out, and then have a rest.
That's fine. We'd have to watch Sunday. That's fine, mate. Last thing for me then. Not asked anyone this before. Who do you think goes down in the league this year? If let's say you get a result tonight and it's all very tight going into it. We sort of touched on it before we came on, but I just want to get your view on it. Who do you think the bottom 3 is that go down, mate?
I think Wickham are gone. I think Sheffield Wednesday are gone. Fingers crossed. And I think it's going to be Huddersfield.
You think Huddersfield? I
think Huddersfield. I don't think they've got anything to offer at the moment in terms of. I just don't think they have, and the manager that they've got I think he's one of the Bielsa's
assistants, isn't he? Yeah,
assistants. Yeah, and he's got very little experience, and I think he's beginning to get found out a little bit. So, I think my money's probably on Huddersfield.
Yeah, I said before to you, didn't I? I said if Coventry beat you tonight, then unfortunately I think it might be you that go, just with the sheer amount of games that are left. Having 4 or 5 to try and claw back 6 points. Yeah. Saying that, there is a lot of teams in there. You've got Derby in there who always seem to pull out a result when they get close, but they're not too far away. So I think it'll be between Huddersfield and you to go, hopefully. Obviously, I want Blues to pull clear of that, and I think Sheffield Wednesday and Wickham probably got too much to do now. I'm going to let you get off, Mick, because you must be a bag of nerves, mate, with only half an hour to go before kick-off. I really appreciate you coming on and doing it before the big game tonight. All the best for tonight, and all the best for the rest of the season. Let's hope that the worst 3 teams in the league go down and the best ones stay up, mate.
Absolutely. Thank you. Not a problem. Good luck for the rest of the season, except Sunday, though, obviously.
Cheers, mate. That's it for this week's episode of the We Are Birmingham Blue preview. If you haven't already, give the latest episode of the podcast a listen and make sure to get your predictions in before the Rotherham game in the We Are Birmingham Prediction League. It's going to be a massive game on Sunday, as we've touched on, so let's hope Blues can do the business and get the result and hopefully push ourselves well clear of that bottom 3. But until next week, keep right on.